Should you buy Bitcoin? That's what you want to know, and that's why you clicked on this video. But the truth is that nobody on YouTube will be able to tell you if you for sure should or should not buy Bitcoin. And if they are definitively telling you what to do, then they are probably pushing some sort of agenda, and they probably don't have your best interests in mind. So instead of telling you what you should or shouldn't do, we will take a look at the reasons why some people invest in Bitcoin, as well as reasons why they do not. These reasons may help you to decide if Bitcoin is a good fit for you, but obviously just don't take my word for it. Do other research outside this video and come to your own conclusions. It's also important to note that everybody's situation is different, and while some people may feel that Bitcoin is a great investment for them, it might not be a great investment for you for whatever reason, and that's okay. It's also important to note that I am biased. I invest in Bitcoin and hold it, so I'm going to always lean towards the positives of investing in Bitcoin rather than the negatives. The first part of this video is going to be reasons why people do invest in Bitcoin, while the second half will be reasons why they don't. I'll have chapters below so that you can switch between the two sections at any point. First, we are going to take a look at the many reasons why people do invest in Bitcoin. Potentially the biggest reason people invest in Bitcoin is because they believe in what it does. Bitcoin is a decentralized currency that can be traded to someone anywhere in the world very quickly. No single person or entity can control it, meaning that no one is barred from using it, and your Bitcoin cannot be taken from you by an institution like a bank or government. At least not as easily as government-created fiat currencies like the US dollar can. Bitcoin also cannot be debased like many fiat currencies are. Government institutions often print more money, which devalues the money that is already out there. This is why things like inflation eat away at your buying power over time. This can't be done with Bitcoin. From its inception, the Bitcoin network has had a hard cap on the total number of coins that will ever exist. That cap is 21 million. This means that you can always be sure the Bitcoin you hold won't be devalued because someone decided to make more out of thin air. It's also why Bitcoin is referred to as digital gold. It offers many of the same benefits that gold does, while also bringing those benefits into the modern digital age. Reasons like these cause many investors to invest in Bitcoin purely based on moral or ethical reasoning, rather than just making a pure profit. However, the next reason will show that there are a ton of people who are just looking to make a profit as well. Bitcoin is extremely volatile. If you know anything about Bitcoin, you probably already knew that. In 2023 alone, it saw a price increase of over 150%. For many traditional investments, that would be by far their biggest year. But for Bitcoin, that is actually one of the least volatile years. For some, this volatility scares them away, but for others, they see it as an advantage. Why invest in the stock market and make 8% in a year when you could invest in Bitcoin and make 200%? A lot of these investors are less risk adverse and want something they can make a lot of money with in a very short period of time. Some of them are in Bitcoin for the long term, while others are only in it for the short term, but they both prefer Bitcoin for its volatility. As Bitcoin has become a more mainstream asset, it has also become less and less volatile, and it is predicted that over time this trend will continue. You can learn more about that in my video that covers Bitcoin cycles and why Bitcoin isn't dead. But because of this decreasing volatility, the investors whose main focus is on making a lot of money want to get in earlier rather than later to take advantage of that volatility. Another major reason many people invest in Bitcoin is for diversification. They may already have large sums of money in the stock market. They may already own some bonds. They may even own some gold. So they are looking for an investment that is a little riskier, but could potentially lead to higher returns than the rest of their portfolio. So they put in a small percentage of their net worth into Bitcoin, just so that all of their eggs are not in one basket. I personally think that going forward, this will be the way most people are investing in Bitcoin, especially once financial products like the Bitcoin ETFs are available to people worldwide. It would be very easy to put 1 to 5% of a retirement account into Bitcoin with basically no hassle, and it could very well lead to much better performance of those accounts over time. These are some of the major reasons people are investing in Bitcoin, and none of these are mutually exclusive. You can still like what Bitcoin stands for, want to make a lot of money off its volatility, and use it as a way to diversify your current portfolio all at the same time. These also aren't the only reasons that you may want to invest in Bitcoin. They are just some of the most common ones. Now let's look at the reasons why you may not want to invest in Bitcoin. Just like many individuals invest in Bitcoin because they like what it does and what it stands for, there are many who feel the exact opposite. They think Bitcoin is useless and does not really have any inherent value. They believe that it operates directly on the greater fool theory, meaning that people only buy it because there is someone else who will be a greater fool than them and buy it for more money. These people think that eventually the house of cards that is Bitcoin will collapse, leaving the holders of Bitcoin with nothing left. There are also many people who have concerns about the environmental environmental impact of Bitcoin. Bitcoin uses a very large amount of energy through Bitcoin mining, which secures the network. This energy consumption is larger than the total energy consumption of countries like Argentina, which has a population of over 45 million people. While those who support Bitcoin believe that the energy consumption is more than worth it, some environmentalists refuse to buy, sell, or use Bitcoin for this reason alone. Some aren't as worried about the ethical reasons for not buying Bitcoin. Instead, they are more worried about how risky it is to invest in. Many other investments have long and proven track records of producing returns. For example, the S&P 500 index has been around since the 50s and consists of the 500 largest US companies. It has consistently provided a decent return since its inception and will likely continue to do so. You also have other assets like gold. Gold has been around for a very long time. Throughout civilizations, gold has been seen as a way to preserve wealth. While it might not always outperform the stock market, it seems extremely unlikely that its value would decrease substantially anytime soon. With many long-term proven assets like gold in the S&P 500, investors wonder if it is worth the risk to invest in such a new asset like Bitcoin. The Bitcoin network has only been running since January of 2009, and while Bitcoin has done well up until this point, that isn't a guarantee of its future success. It's a new technology that will face many unforeseen challenges. We don't know exactly how markets will respond to Bitcoin as it continues to grow. We also don't know how governments will respond to it. Will they continue to accept it, or will they follow China and outright ban it? These factors could end up being Bitcoin's downfall. Why risk putting money into something new and uncertain when you can put money into something much more predictable? Bitcoin is also just a very complicated technology. For those who don't normally deal with the types of technology that make up Bitcoin, it may be too confusing or too time-consuming to really get a grasp on exactly how the Bitcoin network operates. There are many investors out there who refuse to invest in something that they do not fully understand the workings of. With stocks, they may go over piles of paperwork before finally deciding to invest in a company. For Bitcoin, that would mean learning the ins and outs of the network and figuring out how everything runs and operates, rather than just taking somebody's word for it. For some, this just isn't worth it to them, when they have other investments that they can better understand. Obviously, there are more reasons than just these few for why people don't invest in Bitcoin, but these are the most common ones that you will hear. So if any of these concern you, then it is possible that Bitcoin is not the right investment for you, at least not right now. So these are the reasons why you may or may not want to invest in Bitcoin. I hope that you found them helpful. I made this video because one of the most common Bitcoin related questions that you see online is, should I buy Bitcoin? It's one of the first questions most people are asking, and most of the content out there that I have seen doesn't seem to be extremely helpful. A lot of it focuses on telling you that you should 100% buy Bitcoin because the economy is about to collapse, or that you 100% shouldn't because Bitcoin is an outright scam, neither of which I think are very helpful answers to that question. Instead, I tried to make a more balanced video that lets you decide for yourself. You should do your own research and just use this video as a starting point. If you're interested in learning more about Bitcoin, you can check out my video here on 5 things that everyone should know about Bitcoin. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.